All right, we are live, and I think that I figured it out finally. So we are just going to get straight into it because we've had such bad luck with live streaming tonight. I wanted to get a video out. I'm trying to do the 30 days of live streaming, not technically starting now, but want to get some rhythm. So here we go. Andrew Wilson, again, embarrassing himself even more. I'm not a huge fan of Candace Owens. I stopped listening to her show about a year ago because it just became too much for me. Even me as a conspiracy theorist, I thought she was reaching. I thought it was like too much, right? I've been into conspiracies since I was about like 15 or 16 years old. That's when I was introduced to Alex Jones by my aunt's sister. And even me, Candace Owens, felt like a little bit too much for her. However, this thing just keeps getting more and more interesting. So we're going to actually watch Andrew Wilson have these clowns from TPUSA on.
And October.
Yeah. The question becomes like, what happened in that period? Did you have communication with her? Were you talking to her? Were you concerned about her safety? This type of thing? What was what was the interim there that caused her to move into, we have to destroy TPUSA? Like, what actually happened there?
Well, man, you're tempting me to share something I haven't shared before. But so I immediately was in touch with Candace. Again, reminding you and the audience, I was one of the people tasked with sort of, being her point of contact with the org for a number of years. And when everything happened initially, you're sort of, it feels like the whole slate is wiped clean. You have new beginnings. This terrible thing has just happened, and you're reaching out to people and talking to people. They're reaching out to you. And it's just an overwhelming sense of like, we're all living through this tragedy together. Bygones be bygones, water under the bridge.
What I want to know is, was there some sort of drama before? Because this is something that I actually don't know. Was there some sort of drama between TPUSA and Candace before this happened? Like in between her being at Ben Shapiro's organization, and then was there some sort of drama? Because it's something that I'm not privy to.
Okay, it's been tense. We've had our differences. But we just lost Charlie, and I think you're operating under a place of hope that we're all in this together. And so I was very happy in the immediate aftermath to communicate with Candace and share what I knew and share what facts were coming in. And I was really worried about her rumors floating around that I was later told were disinformation, that they were maybe targeting her and Tucker and maybe even Megyn Kelly, and apparently that just turned out to be misinformation, presumably maybe Russian. I don't know. But people were picking stuff up, send it to me. I wanted to make sure she was aware of those potential threats, and then we just kept talking. And what I think I think that we stopped communication in October because it just became extraordinarily clear that this was heading in a terrible direction, and she was no longer operating in good faith. But I remember one conversation, it was probably like 5 or 6 days after. And I remember I had flown to DC. We had JD Vance hosted Charlie's show on that Monday after. So Charlie was on a Wednesday, and then JD hosted the show on the Monday. So I remember I flew back, landed in the airport, and I believe I was talking to Candace, and she said something that I've not publicly communicated yet.
Here's the bombshell. The absolute bombshell of the show.
But basically it was that if the wrong people take over the organization, and she said this, I'll never forget it. She says,
I'll never forget it.
I will burn down that organization. I swear to God.
And you mean Turning Point?
Turning Point. If the wrong people, and I just assumed it was very.
This crazy look from Andrew Wilson just doesn't get old, right? Like as if he actually cares this much to like have this exaggerated, like, oh my gosh, she said what? And you know what this reminds me of, to be completely real? It just reminds me of a bunch of, and they'll make reference to this later about like these wine moms, or he will. It just reminds me of a bunch of bitches gossiping. Like that's what this kind of thing reminds me of. 3 grown men sitting around talking about some girl, and the way that they communicated together, one of the guys and that woman, how they communicated together, it reminds me of high school females gossiping together.
Very obviously
There were
anti-Jewish.
rumors at this time. Like it was
This is
chatter
5
online.
days, 6 days after, whatever it was. She said, "I'm going to burn down that organization. I swear to God." And I just thought she meant if the take over or something
Ben
like
Shapiro.
this.
Let's just say the name.
Ben
People were
Shapiro,
throwing
yeah.
out because Ben Shapiro had appeared on the show.
And
Some people ran with.
See, now notice that this guy, this bald dude, whoever the fuck let that guy on camera, that guy will just like throw out a name, right? That Candace, this is who she meant. This is exactly who she meant. And because it's them, right? Andrew Wilson is always in alliances with like these right-wing wannabe alpha male characters. So like if they at least hold the same core value viewpoints as him, he's not going to challenge them. But listen to that. He is literally saying something that he has no evidence for. Now, was there drama between Candace and Ben Shapiro? And could you infer that, right? If you've watched the debate between Andrew and Candace, could you infer that that might be who she's talking about? Is it probably who she's talking about? Could be. But Andrew won't say nothing about it because it's other men. And it's men that he aligns with, that he aligns himself with. And these are the type of guys that tell you that if you are a real man, you tell the truth no matter what. And you call your friends out and you hold them accountable. Not today, though.
Like Ben Shapiro has now taken over.
Well, he hadn't appeared. I don't know if he had appeared on that. I think he was actually going to show up the next day on the Tuesday because it went JD, the Daily Wire guys, Glenn Beck, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson that first week.
I don't think that you even know what you just said there and how much of a bombshell that is.
I'm still waiting for what exactly the bombshell is. And even this guy in the middle right here, whatever his name is too, seems a little bit confused as to why that was such a bombshell for Andrew Wilson. Like what in everything that man just said, by Andrew Wilson's own standard of the debate that they had, in everything that he just said, where's the evidence, right? Where's the proof? And how come it's always this side that's never actually showing anything? But it's to be accepted. Andrew Wilson, as I said in the last live stream, just does the trust the science thing when it's his side. It's just idea politics, right? If you agree with me, or identity politics, if you agree with me, we're good. I don't have to question you. We're good.
Can you repeat that again? Did you just say that Candace Owens told you?
Can you repeat that again? It was so crazy what you just said. Do you mind repeating it again? And then says it himself.
That if the wrong people take over TPUSA, she's going to burn it to the ground?
Yeah, like 5 or 6 days after Charlie was.
And then what did you say?
And I said, I told her because I knew that Charlie had told me multiple times, and I'll say 2, maybe 3 times I'd heard it. Then I was at.
Look at the fake concern on his face. It's as if he just like found out something like so crazy, like the craziest thing that you could ever imagine to tell somebody, like your deepest, darkest secret. That's this face right here. Like he just found out that one of his friends has been gay since they were 14 years old. And he's just coming out now. He's like, I never knew that. But secretly, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where like your friend is gay and you're like, we knew it. But like, you have to pretend like you didn't know. He's like, oh my goodness, no way. But I support you all the way.
Aspen, when
and I've said it was a miasma. This would come up in conversation, and everyone would say
we all just knew if something happened to Charlie that Erica would take over, but we didn't think that hard about it because we just kind of assumed Charlie was going to be with us for the next 56 years. But at that point, I told her before it was public information, Erica, I think, is going to take over. And, she's very conservative. She's Christian, like this is what Charlie wanted. The board was informed about this when Charlie was alive. Like, this is what's going to happen. Like, you don't have to go there. I remember because like a chill went down my spine. And I said, well, don't say that, Candace. Like, Erica's going to take over. And you kind of heard her react like, oh, okay. Okay, like it kind of
It
caught her
takes
off
on a
guard.
different meaning over time. I think that
Yeah,
in
and
the
it's something-
moment
She's going
you
to
felt,
burn
oh,
it
it means she's
to the ground.
reassured.
Do you just see how people who are aligned with him just are literally allowed to say whatever? And there's no questioning. The guy in the middle, I always forget this dude's names. They're all just nerds, right? Pseudo intellectual nerds, people that like want you to believe that they're smart because they know how to do deductive reasoning, and they know they could probably name the law of the laws of logic off the top of their head, but they can't name, the charges that Tyler Robinson is getting hit with off the top of their head. Those kinds of guys, right? As long as you're these people that are on his side, you can say what you want with no proof. She was like, oh, and he just takes it for face value, everything that they say.
she's gonna burn it to the ground.
But now it gets back. A thing I've said is,
And also, he's been on this for like 2 minutes about the burn it to the ground thing. Like, I mean, get over it. What are you, fucking 5?
I think the
You're
nature of
speculating.
this
but
is
It's just not the bombshell that you think it is. And good thing that this guy in the middle just called this out immediately. The thing that the bald head dude is about to say is speculation. Good thing.
speculation on my part, and again, I don't know her. This is
And then
just
he
kind of my
admits it.
read on her behavior, and I've been around a lot of people and in media and so on.
So, did you hear all that? Did you hear all that?
I think Candace is narcissistic enough and kind of delusional enough. We mentioned we would do these campus tours where Charlie's west of the Mississippi, she's east of the Mississippi. I think Candace was able to tell her a story of, I was Charlie's equal. I was the other person who did campus events just like Charlie did. I am the natural successor or replacement to Charlie. And I think she managed at some point to convince herself that she would get a call and be asked to take over Turning Point USA. And when that didn't happen, she experienced it as a colossal ego injury. And
Well,
a lot of things flowed out of that. That's what
again,
I
to be
personally suspect.
To be fair here, I'm going to try to keep the speculation to a minimum. As
That's the most fair thing that Andrew has done this entire conversation. The most fair thing that he has done is say that he wants to keep it to a minimum of speculation. But everything else, he should have just been calling out the same way that he did with Candace.
people are often always
He's not very consistent.
speculating about other people's motivations, they often get that incorrect.
True.
I'm not sure exactly what the
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, what the motivations are, but I can tell
I
you
don't know.
that there's a
I don't know.
huge that like what you just said there is incredible. She said that early on that if people took over that she didn't like, she was going to burn it to the ground.
It's just not that big of a thing. It's just not. I mean, I think that any of us would say that about anything that any of our friends have ever done. It's really just not that big of a deal, especially because at that point, she didn't have a problem with Erica Kirk. And if she did have a problem with Ben Shapiro and didn't think that Ben Shapiro aligned with what the company was doing or the mission, why would she not say something like that? And saying that, it's like a facetious thing to say. It's not like she would literally commit arson. It's crazy that he's still stuck on that because he would likely say the same thing. And he talks all the time about defeating the leftists and things like that. It's insane that this is even a conversation.
That's an incredible statement.
It's not.
Well, and you think about how early it
He's putting way too much importance on it.
was.
yeah,
That was.
And then it was immediately on her mind by
Yeah.
extension.
And then
See, that's reaching too. Any sane person listening to this, it wasn't immediately on her mind. Right? They were, I'm pretty sure, announcing the people that were going to be hosting the show. So is it really that early on her mind, or is it early on your guys' mind to be replacing Charlie with other hosts instead of taking a break? And then the fact that she has an opinion on it is worse than you guys making plans for somebody to take over? I don't think so. The logic doesn't line up there.
Yeah, and so I remember the first time she mentioned me on her show, and I experienced the wave of like comments and searches, and I can actually see it because immediately afterwards I took steps to protect my family's personal information online. So we had like a company that helps with privacy and stuff like that, and I just actually got the year in review kind of like report, and it shows this huge spike in early October. But I think the first time
like people trying
to access private stuff and doing all these like weird searches on you or whatever. And so I remember, I don't know if it was late September or early October, but I texted her. I go, "Did you just bring me up on the show?" And she goes, "Yes, I did." I said, "Did you say good things or bad things?" And she says, "Good things. I told the truth." She's like, "You've always been so good to me."
Wait, Owen
and it
said
was
that
like
about you?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like,
You've
and
always
that
told
was
me anything like that.
You've always been
so good to
me.
And I was always really nice to her. And she, even some of the tweets that are texts, group chats, texts that she shared, we're being supportive and we're being in good faith, and we're proceeding on as though like we can work together and things can be harmonious in some way, shape, or form. And again, we didn't want her to turn on the org like she did to Daily Wire. So we were always had that in the back of our heads. But
See, though, that kind of thing does seem kind of weird to me, to be fair, right, to them. That does seem kind of weird to me. But at the same time, I don't think it's disingenuous to say that and then have critiques about a person after a while. And after a while and they're acting sketchy, I think that it's okay to change your position on somebody. So I see that from both sides.
But so I was always nice to her. I'm actually a nice guy, as she said. Like, it's probably actually one of my flaws. But I was trying to proceed in that vein, especially after losing Charlie. You're hoping everything like blank slate. Like I said, we're moving forward together. Like the movement needs to coalesce. All of this in good faith.
Well, there you have it, gentlemen. Bombshell after bombshell.
Well, there you have it, gentlemen. A whole nothing sandwich. That what we just watched proves nothing, shows nothing. Besides that, Andrew is part and partial to people that agree with him. As long as you agree with him, you do not have to display any evidence. They didn't show any evidence. They gave their lived experience. They inferred, which in my opinion is totally fine. But it's not to Charlie for people that disagree with him. But it's not for Andrew with people that disagree with him. So thanks for watching. I hope that you can understand and see how Andrew Wilson is digging his own grave. He's a hypocrite. That's coming from somebody that used to actually like him. Have a good night.